Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on this Mame Premna. And this guy's only about 3 inches high, maybe 4. So there's my thumb. So he's just a tiny little guy. But it suffered a drying event. It dried out so much that I thought I had lost it. And I was so bummed. However, it did recover. So now I need to basically restyle it. Not entirely, but as you can see, the first main branch has died all the way back to here. And this is the only growth that's coming from the first main branch. So I'm going to cut it to there. And then I'm going to cut off all this dead stuff here. And then, this is shooting straight up, and obviously I want it to be horizontal. But at this point, I think I'm just going to leave it, let it strengthen a little more. Then we have our second main branch, which used to have really beautiful ramification. But most of it has died too. So this one has died, and this one has died. And the back part has died. And the whole branch is alive because you can tell there's growth all the way to the tip. But now it just looks dumb. We've got this branch shortened to here, and with this branch still out here. And of course it's just going to continue to elongate. So I'm cutting it back to... Actually, there's a tiny little piece of growth right there. So I'm going to cut it to there. And then the back branch is completely dead. So it comes off completely. And if it's completely dead, no reason to have it on there. And then the apex has always been a little weird. We have some growth like this, and I'm thinking, now I still do have a decent back branch right here. This has come off, that comes off because that's dead. And then I think I can cut back these 2 little pieces of growth on the back branch. And then I have to figure out what to do with the rest of it. And do I cut all of this off right here and begin to promote those little tiny pieces? Or I've been thinking of wiring it up something like that, which would make it a little bit larger tree. But something like that, so then it continues the line of the trunk up into here, even wire that up as the apex. So that's what I've decided to do. And if I'm going to do that, if you notice this branch here, when I wired it up, that branch is suddenly shooting way back. That part is also dead. And there's a lot of new growth up on top. So I'm very happy that the tree has survived. Although, it's going to, well, what would you call it? It's going to just have the next iteration of the tree. Sometimes this just happens, and we have to decide what we want to do. In my experience, no bonsai tree is ever static. They're always growing, they're always changing, they're always evolving. And of course, I don't really recommend having them almost die because they dried up to change the style. But now that that has happened, okay. I'll bring the apex up just a little more. So, you see now this branch is shooting almost straight down, which is also insane. So I'm going to wire it back up. And if you watch videos where people wire their branches, they're almost always wiring them to bring them down. We want branches that go down because that's the way old trees grow. So bring him up into there, and then truly, in order for that to be part of the tree, it really needs to be cut to about there. So take the wire off. Well, I still want it on there a little bit to bring this point up like that. Okay. I don't think I need any more wire. And I'm just going to wait on this guy because I really don't want that main branch to die. So there we go. And now it needs to be repotted too, because if you look, the soil is missing in a lot of places, and we have roots that have hit the pot and then begun to circle around. So it also needs to be repotted. And the repotting process is going to actually rejuvenate it some too. So to do that, I need to pause and then get my repotting paraphernalia out. So I'm going to use the same pot. And he should just pop right out of there. Oh, and this pot has 2 drain holes. Amazing. This is just a mass-produced Chinese pot, but I like it. It's a nice pot. And then you need to remove some of the soil. What kind of soil was this in? It does look like bonsai soil. So and there's some white roots, but boy, look at how it's circled. And it's possible that that's why it's dried out, because it didn't have much soil and it was rather root bound. And I don't think it even had mesh. Okay, so here we go. Pretty major root pruning. Okay. And Premna root very easily from, oops, I probably should have it in the screen. Premna root very easily from cuttings. So I find there's a correlation between trees that root easily from cuttings and their ability to take a major root pruning. And I'm confident that because, there's my hand, which we've seen plenty of. There we go. And I'm pretty confident that it's going to survive. Oops. Well, you gotta figure I made it taller and chopped off all the roots. So where is the top? There we go. There's the front. One small scoop is about all it really needs. And there we go. Now just make sure it gets a lot of water, and I'm going to let this guy continue to grow and then trim it back and then wire it down into place. And so, the vision for this tree is going to be out to about like that, in a little canopy. And so I'm just happy it survived the drying. And and I work on my trees all the time. I'm always out here. I mean, my day is pretty much begins with, getting up and doing your normal things that you do. And then coming out into my bonsai garden. So how this guy got dry, and actually I had another one that got dry too. But it's an ugly duckling, so I'm not going to feature him yet because he's a typical example of premature bonsai potting. It's like, why did I even put this in a bonsai pot? But this guy I just love. It's got great nabari and movement, and did have great branching. So we just have to see. I'm confident that it will recover and be back to being a very nice little tree. All this very new growth on top, I will pinch regularly, promote the bottom branches. So there we go. Well, a rehabilitation of a Mame Premna. And so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. When you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified the next time I work on this guy. And leave a comment. Premna are tough plants, except for cold. They do not like cold, and they will die in a freeze. But otherwise, they're fairly drought tolerant. They're tolerant of poor soil. They can handle a certain amount of salt buildup. They are tough plants, except for cold. So this guy is a perfect example of that because he was so dry. Like I said, I thought it had died. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.